Hi, Joyce at Delightful Quilting and Sewing, a Knowlton dealer in Avon, New York. Today I want to talk about controlling thread, and this is a topic that could go on with much more discussion than what I'm going to give you, but I'm going to give you a few tips on how to work with different kinds of thread. When we're quilting, we use thread from anything from a cotton thread like this one to a shiny poly like this one. This is Glide. To another type of poly. This one is Affinity right here. And there can be matte finish poly threads as well. Over the years I've used many different kinds of threads and have learned to work with them. It's a matter of learning how to work with the thread rather than just tossing the thread out and say it doesn't work in my machine. So there's several things to really realize as we work with thread. And one is we need to keep the thread on a very good pathway through the machine all the way down to the needle, which means that we have to go through the shepherd's hook, which is right above the cone. We go through the pin, and I recommend going through the bottom hole on the pin rather than the top hole on the pin, or on some of the machines it comes out the side, go in the hole that is closest to the machine head. And the reason for that is when you're stitching along, once in a while the thread will kind of up and loop around like that and get caught. All of a sudden it'll break on you and you'll wonder what happened. So go through the hole that's closest to the machine. Then we have our 3-hole thread guide, and on the Knowlton machines you should be threading down in the back one, up in the center one, and down in the front one, going around the back side of our tension disc and up over the spring. And when you pull on the spring or pull on the thread, that spring should go down to about the 7 o'clock position if you're looking at it like a clock face. From there you go underneath what we call the duck bill, back up to the take-up lever, and then down through a thread guide here. And depending on your machine, there's a thread guide on the front of it, but not on the Fun Quilters, and then through the guide that's right above the needle right here, and then down through the needle. It's important to go through all those guides unless you're using a specialty thread, which I'm not going to talk about right now. One of the things that we do on our Knowlton machines is we put a little piece of batting in here. Now you may wonder what that piece of batting is for. No, it's not to clean the lint off of the thread. It does serve a purpose, and the major reason for this is so that when you stop stitching, this thread doesn't back off here and puddle down, because as soon as you start stitching and it pulls that lax thread up through, it's going to affect the tension on your stitching, your stitch quality. So we want to keep this tightened up here so that this is always nice and straight. So putting a piece of batting in here so that it lays way down into the crook on the shepherd's hook and keeps this taut here, and it doesn't puddle back down. Now some threads will puddle more than others. For example, on this cone that I have here of the pink thread, when I pull this up like this and I let go of it, you can see that there's enough stickiness on this cotton thread that it kind of sticks to itself. It does not puddle down. If I take a cone with a Glide thread or any shiny polyester thread and I pull up on it like this, and then all of a sudden I stop stitching and that relaxes, you can see how that thread just puddles right down, and it'll make a little puddle of thread down around the bottom of the cone, so that when you start sewing again, zoop, like that, it pulls it up to get the tension back on that thread. And while it's getting back to that more tense position, your thread, your stitching quality is going to be affected adversely. So one of the ways to control that is by putting a thread net on your cone. I put these on, tuck the bottom up in, and I have it down just at the top of where the thread comes off, so that when I'm stitching with this and it comes up like this, that thread is not going to puddle back down. And as long as I have this, the batting in the shepherd's hook, again, it's going to stay taut and it's not going to fall down. So here you can see I've got affinity thread in here. This is a poly thread, and when I pull on this from the front of the shepherd's hook, I'm going to pull on it a little bit, and then I'm going to relax like I'm stopping stitching. So I've relaxed it, and you can see it's relaxed right here. Right there's the thread. But you'll notice that the thread that comes down from the shepherd's hook is not relaxed, and it's nice and taut. So it's important to keep the tension a little bit on your thread as it goes through your machine so that you end up with good stitch quality. So two things: keep the batting in here, and especially on your shiny polyesters, use a thread net. So I hope that helps you with some of the tension issues that you may be having, some of the poor stitch quality that's intermittent that you don't know how to solve. So that's it for Tech Tuesday today. Happy quilting.